Hello, let's talk about snow. Whether you love it or hate it or need it for your business, it's a big deal here in Maine. I'm going to talk about the impacts going into this winter with the latest details I have. A La Nina watch is officially up. It's the cooling of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. Right now, the anomalies are going below zero. The snowfall map that I made shows the best opportunity for average snowfall this winter is going to be the central highlands north in the county. That would mean around 120 inches. South of that, I expect less than the 60 inches, which would be an average for a place like Portland in southern Maine. Weak La Nina expected at most. NAO and AO are key. Those are two big factors. And overall, that means less snow for Maine, with nor'easters being rare as we head into this winter. If we had a strong El Nino, we'd have an active subtropical jet with a lot of moisture. If we had a strong La Nina, we'd bring cold air and moisture together. Weak versions of these mean we have less direct impacts. So other factors, other players are going to have bigger impacts. Let's talk about the ENSO trend, El Nino Southern Oscillation. The trend is for a weak La Nina from November on. Marginal at most, anomaly around -1. And then we'll head into a neutral phase in the spring. And that could play a factor as we get to March and April. Remember, we had an April storm last year. Less impacts with a weak La Nina. Temps are going to be above average and precip at equal chances. We're going into this season dry. October was extremely dry. November has started off extremely dry. That trend continues. Here's the temperature trend. Above average temperatures for the south and east. 33 to 50% probability in Maine that we're going to see above average temps, and less snow, especially outside of the mountains. It's still going to snow this winter, just going to be less than what you typically see. Precip trends. Equal chances for New England, see that here on the map, lacking a subtropical jet stream though, which would give us above average. And we're going into the season with a drought, which is severe right now in southern York County, and it's expanding mid-coast up into down east in the county. You see that moderate drought. So water conservation obviously needed as we get into the wetter months during winter. Let's talk about now a few of the factors that I'm tracking here. The drought is obviously one of those factors. The National Weather Service expect that drought is going to be removed in the next few months. October, typically a dry month. We had a very dry October, but more moisture from winter storms expected to alleviate that drought for the eastern part of Maine down towards the southern coast. I want to talk about the Arctic Oscillation, the AO. That's our cold weather highway around the North Pole. It needs to be negative, or else snow is going to be a challenge. We need cold air to have snow, obviously. Here's the forecast the next 45 days. A negative phase would allow for that cold air to break off from the North Pole to come down. You don't see any real trend here for anything negative. In December, could get around zero, but really this is crucial for snowstorms. We need cold air, especially early December. North Atlantic Oscillation. This is our wild card to give us those big storms. Storm track critical. Get that Greenland blocking pattern. Cold air locks in. It slows down the storms. NAO forecast the next 45 days. There's a dip in early December. There's a shot there of a storm, but really we start to bump back up for the middle part of December. We need that Greenland block, though. That would really give us those big storms. I do not expect that this winter. The NAO is not going to be negative that often this winter. Through mid-December, here's your 45-day snow trend. There's an opportunity here around December, first week, for up to around 5 inches on an average. That doesn't mean we're going to get a big storm in December, but inland, away from the coast, is the best shot at that. I want to talk about up in the county, Central Highlands, down east. And you see here, for December, 1 to 2 feet on average is the snowfall amount. There's some favorable signals I just showed you this year. If AO is kind of negative, but that's what you'd expect on average, places that do get snowfall. South of that in Portland, southern Maine, sees around 38 to 60 inches. Average in the middle there, so obviously around 60. I expect less this winter. Here's the last winter storm we had. This is back in April of this past season, right? The nor'easter was the biggest storm of the year. A late season phasing happened right at the time that we needed it, and we had plenty of moisture in that El Nino. We're not going to have that this winter. That's why I have a pessimistic outlook. And I also want to talk about one of the biggest storms, if not the biggest storm ever on record. How about the 1993 superstorm? This is why I fell in love with the weather and snow in Maine when I was living here. There were global impacts from a volcanic eruption. It's the number one all-time snowstorm for the East Coast, that big blizzard. So I thank you so much for watching. Jason Nappy Weather. Thank you for talking about snow. Whether you love it or hate it, we're still going to get snow. Don't worry about it. We'll get some snow. I just do not expect the typical numbers, the 60 to 120, because of that weak La Nina and other factors. I'll update this forecast. I'll track every snowstorm for you right here on Jason Nappy Weather. Have a great day.